Ever wonder what the shoulder patches worn on an Army uniform mean? The patch worn on the left shoulder is the unit the soldier is currently assigned to, and a patch worn on the right shoulder is that of the unit he or she served in combat with. This patch is important to soldiers and veterans because each of those colorful patches has a story behind it. When you become part of a military unit, you become part of its story, part of the history behind the patch. Hi, I'm Jim Bromley, and this is the Roving Historian channel. The 9th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army is nicknamed the Old Reliables. The division was created during World War I, and as the 9th Division, never saw deployment overseas. However, the 9th ID proved to be an important asset during World War II, Vietnam, and the Cold War. This video is a short history of the Old Reliables during the Vietnam War. The 9th Infantry Division was reactivated on February 1, 1966 at Fort Riley, Kansas, and deployed to the 3 Corps Tactical Zone in Vietnam on December 16th of the same year. During the Vietnam War, the 9th Infantry Division's units often served with Mobile Riverine Force and other U.S. Navy units that made up the Brown Water Navy. Its area of operations was in the rivers and canals of the Mekong Delta from 1967 to 1972. The 9th Infantry Division swept through Din Thuong Province during the period from January 6 to May 31, 1967 in Operation Palm Beach, spending February and March with South Vietnamese forces fighting the enemy in Long An Province. Meanwhile, the Old Reliable's 2nd Brigade was selected to fulfill the concept of a Mobile Riverine Force created in 1967 and integrated with Navy Task Force 117 at each level of its command. One of the unique units serving with the division was the 39th Cavalry Platoon Air Cushion Vehicle, which used the specially designed hovercraft to patrol marshy terrain like the Plain of Reeds along the South Vietnamese-Cambodian border. For the first time since the Civil War, when Union Army forces operated on the Mississippi, Cumberland, and other rivers, the U.S. Army was utilizing an amphibious force operating afloat. The force was a complete package, independent of fixed support embarked or in tow. The troops lived on barracks ships docked at the Mobile Riverine Force anchorage. On tactical operations, Navy armored troop carrier boats, preceded by minesweeping craft and escorted by armored boats, transported the soldiers along the vast waterways in the Delta. The first element of the Mobile Riverine Force, which was 2nd Brigade, 9th Infantry Division, arrived in Vietnam in January of 1967, and after training in the Rong Sat swamps, moved into a base near Mai To. This base was named Dong Tom and was a 600-acre island created among inundated rice paddies by dredging earth from the bottom of the Mekong River. The Marine River Force often operated with other specialized units such as Navy SEAL teams, South Vietnamese Marines, units of the ARVN 7th Division, and river assault groups on reconnaissance, blocking, and pursuit operations. During the Tet Offensive in 1968, the 9th Infantry Division engaged in bitter fighting in the Saigon area. After the battle, General Westmoreland stated that the Old Reliables and the Mobile Riverine Force saved the Delta region from falling to the North Vietnamese Army. In 1969, the division also operated throughout the 4th Corps Tactical Zone. As part of the U.S. drawdown in Vietnam, 2 brigades were brought home in August of 1969. The 3rd Brigade stayed in Vietnam and fought in Cambodia until departing Vietnam in October of 1970. Elements of the 9th Infantry Division had served 1,440 days in country. After Vietnam, the 9th Infantry Division was stationed at Fort Lewis, Washington for the remainder of the Cold War. By December of 1991, all the units of the 9th Infantry Division had cased their colors. This ended over 50 years of service to the country, earning the division's nickname, the Old Reliables. If you'd like to read about the 9th Infantry Division in Vietnam, I have 2 recommendations for you for books. The first is The 9th Infantry Division in Vietnam, Unparalleled and Unequaled by Ira A. Hunt. The author was a brigade commander in the Old Reliables in Vietnam, but as one reviewer suggested after reading this book, you might want to pick up one or two of the personal narratives that are available to gain a soldier's view of the fighting in the Mekong Delta. For a completely different perspective, I recommend Steal My Soldiers' Hearts by Colonel David Hackworth. The author commanded 4th Battalion, 39th Infantry, 9th Infantry Division in Vietnam. I read this book years ago, and the author pulls no punches in his criticisms of upper management or his praise for his soldiers. Amazon affiliate links to both books are in the description below. If you enjoyed this History Behind the Patch video, I hope you'll hit the like button or leave us a comment. Subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out when we release new videos. Finally, always rate, review, and share what you enjoy reading. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.